Hi everyone, and welcome to our, speaking exam help video. I'm going to go over the speaking exam questions and mention, right here, some possible follow-up questions. A little bit of a help guide, if you need it. So this is our speaking exam. It's on LMS. You can check it there. Unit 6. So the 3 questions from Unit 6. Number 1. Would you rather go skydiving or hot air ballooning? Well, let's start with that. So, that's the question. It's your preference, right? Unit 6 is somewhat just things you think about, your opinion on things. So, I would rather go A, skydiving or hot air ballooning, whichever one you choose, than B, the other one. So, let's see. Here are follow-up questions. So, if I'm going to say I would rather go hot air ballooning than skydiving. First question you could ask, why? Well, I think, remember your opinion, I think if you ask me, or in my opinion, skydiving is, let's see, terrifying, scary, frightening, those types of things. So I would like to go hot air ballooning. I would prefer that. I'd rather that. You might ask me, where would you, right? This is future, not the past, future. Where would you go skydiving? Or hot air ballooning, sorry. I would go hot air ballooning in the place. I would say in Canada, in Turkey, in Australia, wherever. Doesn't matter. Choose a place. Good question. Who would you go hot air ballooning with? I don't know. Maybe some friends. Okay. What? Not so good. When is a good question. It's the future, right? So I would say I would go hot air ballooning next summer. Want to go when it's warm. And a part of Unit 6, we use have you ever in the past participle, the PP, right? That's on page 133 in your book if you need help. Have you ever gone hot air ballooning? Almost said skydiving again. No, I haven't. So I would like to go hot air ballooning. So right there's a bunch of follow-up questions. Let's get rid of that. Number 2, have you ever gone horseback riding? That just means one time in your life, the past. I would say, well, there's 2 answers. Yes, I have. No, I haven't. So if the person says yes, well, me, yes, I have. Well, easy question. When did you go? Right? Go for gone. I went horseback riding. Ooh, remember, Joshim, be careful. I went to go. Don't use 2 verbs. Just I went. We're talking about the past. I went horseback riding when I was about 6 years old. Long time ago. You might ask, where did you go horseback riding? Okay. I went horseback riding at my grandfather's place. He had lots of land and some horses. Don't remember how many. Well, who did you go horseback riding with? My grandfather. How often? Okay. How often do you go horseback riding? Not very much. Once in my life when I was a boy. So, what kind of horse? I don't remember. But that's a bunch of yeses. If I say no, I have never gone horseback riding. You might ask, would you like to go horseback riding? That's the future, right? Maybe they say yes, maybe they say no. And why not? Who would you go with? Well, not if they don't want to go. I don't know. That's harder if they say no, right? So, number 3, would you ever travel abroad by yourself? Now, that's the tricky part. Yes, I would. No, I wouldn't. Those are the answers. But remember, it's by yourself. So, who? No, who. We don't need that. Who would you go with? No one. It's by myself. So, if you say yes, you can use all the questions. Where would you go? For me, I would go to Germany. You might ask, why? I want to go to Wacken. Wacken? What is that? It's a heavy metal music festival. Oh, okay. When is it? It takes place in the summer. I think it's August. So I'll be on vacation, right? Um, you might ask, have you ever been to Germany before? No, I haven't. Not often. How long would you stay? Right? I don't know how long. Maybe 2 weeks. If they say no, you can ask, why not? Here's the thing, travel abroad by yourself. Maybe they say, I want to go with people. Well, I want to go with my girlfriend, my family, my best friend, whoever. You don't like being alone. Okay. Then you could change it. Would you ever travel abroad with your family? Maybe you could do that. Or have you ever traveled abroad? Not talking about alone. So, that's Unit 6. All right, Unit 7. It was all about being sick, giving advice, asking for advice, and remedies, symptoms, all the stuff about sickness. What should you do to get over the flu? Well, let's take a look. So, that's asking for advice, right? So, all the answers. You should, if you have the flu, maybe I would say you should go to the doctor. You should take some medicine. You should get some rest, not take a rest. When was the last time you had the flu? Okay. What do you do? What did you do, maybe? Or what do you do when you have the flu? Why? Have you ever had the flu? Most likely. Who? No. Where? No. Why? How often do you get the flu? Those are some questions for number 5. Number 6, how often do you get sick? This can be many things, right? So I get sick, and then the frequency. This is back to Unit 1 or 2? I forget. I think it's Unit 1. I get sick a number, so let's say 2 times and then we need a time. Days, months, week, year, whatever. I would say I get sick twice a year, 2 times, right? So I get sick twice a year. Or if you're super healthy, I never get sick. That's harder for follow-ups. I get sick twice a year. All right. When is easy? When was the last time you were sick? What, because it's past, what was wrong? I had a cold. I had COVID. I had whatever problem. Okay. Where? Who? Not do because it's past. Did you go to a doctor? Okay. You could ask, have you ever had, and then pick a problem. Have you ever had COVID? Have you ever had the flu? Have you ever had a broken bone or whatever? Have you ever had a hangover was one of the questions, right? We're talking about sicknesses, problems. If they say I never get sick, I don't know. Who? No. What was wrong? No. Where? That's harder for follow-ups. Why not? I never get sick. Why not? That's hard for follow-ups for that one. When? Never. How often? Never, right? That's difficult. Easier answer is I get sick and then sometimes. All right, number 7. When was the last time you went to a doctor? I went to the doctor last week. I went to the doctor 2 days ago. Dentist is a tooth doctor, right? So I went to the doctor 2 days ago. You could ask, what was wrong? I had to get a tooth taken out. There's a problem. Where? Why? Same thing. Why did you go? Same type of question. Don't use them both. Who? No. How often is good? How often do you go to a doctor? Okay. Have you ever? Most likely. Would you? Do? I guess. No. Have you ever? I don't know. You could add something there. Have you ever? Maybe you could say stayed in a hospital. But that's Unit 7, okay? So, for Unit 8, we talked about movies, shows, and we talked about people using the superlatives. The, or EST, right? So let's take a look. I've mentioned this question a few times. What's the best movie you've ever seen? The answer starts with, the best movie I've ever seen is, not my best movie. Just be careful with that. So, once you answer, let's see. Well, what? What kind of movie is it? When did you watch that movie? Okay. Well, who is in it? I would say the best movie I have ever seen is 7. Who is in 7? Okay. Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman are the main 2 actors. What kind of movie is it? It's a police drama thriller. Ooh, why? Why is it the best movie you've ever seen? Because the ending, was so surprising. First time I saw it, it was like, oh my God. It was great. Where? Where did you see it? I watched the movie at a friend's house. How? When? Okay, when is good. When did you watch that movie? We watched it in university. Let's see. Have you ever seen blah blah movie? A different name. Yeah, you could change a similar movie. Don't just pick any movie. How often is good? Do you watch movies? Lots of follow-up questions, right? Just be careful. My best movie. Don't do that. Number 10 is a good one. Are you more like your mother or father? So, the answer would be I'm more like my whichever person. I would say I'm more like my father. So, when we talk about that, I could think of characteristics. Let's see. My mother is talkative, outgoing, and what? Sweet. My father is intelligent, funny, and hardworking. Let's see. Mother, 2, father, 3. Oh, so I'm more like my father. That's it. You could ask why, and then I could say the characteristics. Funny, intelligent, hardworking. Same as me. Who? What? Where? How often? Oh, now, are you more like? That's personality inside, right? Who do you look like? Your mother or father? I look like my father. How? Well, for me, I live in Korea, right? So, how often do you talk to your mother or father? That could be a good question. Where? What? You do some whats. But pick the person you're more like, the characteristics, and go with that. Number 11, again, this is your opinion. What do you think is more overrated, Squid Game or Parasite? In my opinion, Parasite is more overrated than Squid Game. So that's my answer. Why? Easy one, right? Um, Squid Game was great. Parasite was kind of boring. You might say, did you watch both? Yes, I watched both of them. I enjoyed Squid Game, but Parasite was boring. When? When did you watch them? Who? Who did you watch? Pick one. Squid Game with. I watched it with a friend. Um, have you ever seen? You could pick a different movie or show that's popular, right? How often? Same thing. How often do you watch Netflix? So that's Unit 8. In Unit 9, we talked about technology, right? Let's just get to it. What kind of phone do you have? I Let's try the reflections. I have a Samsung phone or an Apple phone. I have a Galaxy S22 Ultra. Whoops. So, remember, this unit, we use for and since, in other words. So, a good question. How long have you had your phone? That's one of the follow-ups in Unit 9 on the page of questions that we practice. I've had my phone for 2 years. So that means since 2022. You can use both. Well, not both. One. Both are okay. Um, why? You can ask why. Why do you have a Samsung phone? Have you ever? This is good. You could ask, have you ever had an iPhone? Right? Or if you have an iPhone now, have you ever had a Samsung phone? Where did you buy your phone? When we're talking about the best app on your phone, it's your opinion. For me, I would say Coupang is the most useful app on my phone. How often is a great follow-up. How often do you use it? I use Coupang maybe twice a week. What do you buy on Coupang? Why is it a good, most useful app? Have you ever used, was it Shipilbunga or Gmarket? These are good follow-ups. But the thing is, it depends on what your partner says for their answer. This question is probably the hardest one on the exam. When can technology be a problem? Again, it's your opinion. So, if you ask me, technology can be a problem when, let's see, people are hacking, right? When my email gets hacked or my bank app gets hacked or my computer stops working the way it should be yesterday. Just think of a problem with technology. And if I say when people hack my email, You might ask, have you ever had your email hacked? No, I haven't. What can you do if your email is hacked? Do. Do you know anyone whose email has been hacked? Okay. Again, this is one of the questions. Your follow-ups depend on what your partner says for their answer. So this can be a bit tricky. But that's Unit 9, technology and problems with technology. And finally, Unit 10. Unit 10 is mostly review. These questions are pretty good ones. And remember, Unit 10 is all about the future, possible things. They might never happen. So let's take a look. If you could travel abroad, a different country, where would you go? Well, where is the question? But as I said earlier, I would go to Germany. You might ask, where in Germany, right? That's country. What cities? Where would you go? I would go to Berlin and Wacken. Why? Because I would love to see some of the history and I said heavy metal music festival in Wacken. Who would you go with? I would go alone or with friends, whichever. When would you go? Right? When would you go? Summer vacation. So I would go during summer vacation. How long would you stay? I would stay a week or two. Maybe I've been there before. Have you ever been to Germany? No, that's why I want to go. What would you do? There's lots of follow-ups, right? Number 18 is a bit different. We can talk about things we should do, or I hate that, what we shouldn't do. So if I want to live a long life, what should I do? You should, we've talked about this in class, eat healthy food, exercise, and get lots of sleep. You could ask, what kind of food, what kind of exercise, why should I get lots of sleep, when should I sleep? That's okay. Again, this depends what your partner says for their answer. You should exercise. When should I exercise? Okay. How often is good? How often should I exercise? You should eat healthy foods. Okay. What kind of foods do you recommend? I would say you should eat lots of protein, chicken or steaks or something. Kimchi is good. Lots of vegetables, some fruit. Do you exercise? You could ask the person, do you exercise? And then you shouldn't, right? You shouldn't smoke. You shouldn't drink too much alcohol. You shouldn't eat junk food. And you could talk about that. How often, long? No. How much alcohol could I drink? Maybe 1 or 2 drinks a week, right? Smoking, probably 0, right? But if you won $1,000,000, Shipok won, what would you do first? Well, the question, I would, right? I would buy a house. Well, the easy follow-up, why? Because I want my own house. Where is a good follow-up? Where would you buy the house? I've had students say they would buy it in Jeju, in Seoul, in Gyeongsan. Me, I would buy a house in my hometown in Canada. Who? Well, if I buy a house, who would I live with? No one. I live alone. Right now, I live alone. Maybe in the future be different. When? No. When is when we win the money, right? What would you do next? I buy a house in Canada. Well, I guess I would move to Canada. I got $1 million. I'm rich. Woohoo! But again, this really depends on what your partner asks or answers. It depends on your partner's answer. So if they say, I would buy a car, what kind of car? Do you have your license? Talk about questions related to the car. Those types of questions. Um, when we have a review class, you can ask for help. And you can ask for help here, or you can message me any problems you might have. Speaking exam. The speaking exam help. Hopefully this helps, and I'll see you in class soon. All right. Good luck with the exams. Bye, everyone.